How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Time for 20 series. I'm Greg, and this is the Core Strength and Stability class. So if you have a block, that would be very handy to have in class. You don't need it necessarily, but we can definitely use it to ramp up some intensity. So let's get started right after it, setting ourselves up in a bridge-like setup position. So normal times in yoga class, you might hear you want the heels planted right behind your hips, but for today, we're gonna step them a little bit out so that you couldn't touch your heels. And then we're gonna take the block, put it the medium width in between the meaty part of your thighs. From here, we'll bring our arms by our sides. Let's just make sure our sacrum is planted on the mat. Our ribs aren't flaring out at all. And we'll root down through the heels, and on an inhale, we'll lift into a low bridge, about a fist to a fist and a half distance off the mat. Squeeze this block with your inner thighs. Really feel the glutes engage and the back line working. So if you don't feel these glutes engaging, come up onto the heels of your feet and dig the heels down like you're digging them into sand. Then maybe that back line fires up and you can slowly begin to lower the feet back down completely. Butt tucks underneath, low belly vacuums in. Imagine like you're trying to read something on a belt buckle that you're wearing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. On an exhale, one vertebra at a time, slowly come all the way down. Once the sacrum lands, on an inhale, we'll lift back up. Squeeze the block. Glutes, butt tucked underneath, core is active and engaged. Can we keep everything still here and straighten the right leg out? And breathe, breathe. Load up that left leg. Be strong in that left heel, that left glute. And then bend the right knee. Place the foot back on the ground. Load up into your right heel, your right glute. And straighten out through the left leg. Keep that butt tucked underneath, that core engaged. Squeeze the block. And then bend back into the left knee. Place it down slowly. Articulate down the spine. One vertebra at a time. Now we're just going to do some core work. Arms stay by our sides. Take a big inhale. And on an exhale, we'll lift up and crunch. So shoulder blades lift. Chest is what's lifting, not our neck. Breathing here. Squeeze the block. And now can we reach the left hand to the outside of the right knee and reach and pull that shoulder blade off the mat. Reach, reach, reach. Come back to center. Reach the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Pull up, reach, get the shoulder blade lifted, breathe. Come back through center. On an exhale, slowly articulate all the way down the spine. Let's take the block and now slide it in between our shins. It can stay the middle distance and just squeeze it in between your shins. On an inhale, we'll slowly crunch our way up, hands float. And now low back stays on the mat and extend the legs, coming into low boat pose, squeezing the block here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Point through the toes, lift through the chest. Low back stays onto the mat. Breathe. And on an exhale, let everything lower to the mat. Keep that block in between your shins. Now we're going to keep our back body planted on the mat. And on an inhale, let's lift the legs high to the mat, keeping our low back on the mat, squeezing this block. And then from here, begin to lower the legs. And as soon as your low back wants to arch up and lift off the mat, lift the legs back up. So that's one. Let's lower down with control. Core is active and engaged. Lifting up on an inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. One more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Grab the block, slide it off to the side. Hug the knees into the chest. Take a little twist, drop the knees to the right, left arm out like a T. And then bring the knees back through center, dropping them over towards the left. Right arm out like a T. Inhale, come back to center. Extend the legs long again. Arms by our side, big toes touch, setting ourselves up for a low boat pose. Big inhale here. On an exhale, the head, shoulder blades, arms and legs lift off the mat. Low back stays down into the mat. From here, can we roll onto our right hip, keeping the right shoulder blade lifted? Core is still engaged. And then can we roll back onto the back and roll onto the left hip? Shoulder blade on the left side stays lifted. Come back through center. Hold, breathe. Smooth and steady. And on an exhale, let everything melt to the mat. Let the feet fall open. Let the arms relax by your sides. And now let's work our way all the way over onto our bellies. Coming all the way down on our bellies. Arms extend out long in front of you, palms facing down, forehead touching the mat. So our forehead, our pubic bone, and the shoelace part of our feet press down into the mat. Pubic bone presses down so much that you almost feel your belly lift. Take a big inhale. And now on an exhale, imagine like you're pressing your hands into wet cement. Really press into the ground. Press, press, press. Feel the whole back body engage and activate for you. Keep pressing. And now nothing else is going to lift except the arms here. Now lift the arms away from the mat. Lift them as high as they can go. High, high, high. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And on an exhale, lower them all the way back down. Taking a break. Breathe. And now we'll get ready for our next round. So hands press down, press down, press down. Forehead presses down, pubic bone presses down, shoelace part of the feet, press, 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 and now lift. Lift, lift, lift the hands as far away from the mat as you can. Lift, lift, lift. Now lift the head and chest with the hands. Bend the elbows so much so like you're trying to touch the elbows back behind your back body. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then let the hands float next to your ribs and drive the wrists up through the elbows, feeling that whole back chain active and engaged, active and engaged. On an exhale, hands melt to the mat. Inhale, take an up dog or a cobra. Stretch out the front side of the belly. And then on an exhale, come right into a plank position. So shoulders over the wrists, head's an extension of our neck, glutes tucked underneath, core is active and engaged, legs are firming towards the midline, heels pressing an imaginary wall behind you. Really press the ground away with the hands. Now from here, can we let the right foot hover a few inches? And with control, place it back down. And without anything moving, can we just let the left foot hover a few inches? And then place it back down. Now pick the right foot up and stack it on top of the left heel. Pause here. And now right foot back down, pick the left foot up, stack it on top of the right heel. Pausing here. Now left hand comes down. Slowly, can we lower one forearm to the mat, followed by the other, and then wiggle the toes back a little on the mat, letting the hips drop, but the core vacuums up. Now from here, bring your big toes together and let the hips fall over towards the right, maybe tap the mat, and then come through center towards the left. So that was 1. Let's do 10. That's 2, right, left, 3, right, left, 4 with control, right, left, 5, 5 more, right, left, 5, right, left, 4, right, left, 3, right, left, 2, right, left, 1, come back to forearm plank, and now begin to rock forward and back on your toes, forward and back. Press the forearms down, scrub the elbows back towards your toes, press, really just forward and back, feel that core engage. And now slowly come back through center, lower the hips to the mat, flip the feet, shoelace part of the feet, come into the mat, setting up for Sphinx pose, shoulders stack over the elbows, press the hands and forearms down and draw them back, pubic bone presses down, chest comes through the shoulders, front body stretches and expands. On an exhale, let's release and let's just work our way back onto our backs. So now we'll come back on our back again, setting up for a low boat pose. From here, inhale, we'll lift up. And now on an exhale, the right leg will go high to the sky. The left leg will stay lifted in the air. And now reach both hands over to the outside of the right leg. And then switch. Left leg goes high, reach both hands over to the outside of the left leg. And switch. So that was 1. That's 2, and switch. Switch 3, switch. Switch 4, switch. Switch 5, 5 more, switch. Switch 5, switch. Switch 4, keep the shoulder blades lifted. Cores engaged. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Slowly let everything melt to the mat. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Make circles on the low back. And reverse those circles. Smooth, steady breath through the nose. Give ourselves a nice little break here before a little bit more. So extend the legs back long. Big toes touch, setting up for our low boat pose. Inhale, we'll rise up. And now can we pick up the left foot and stack it on top of the right? And leave the left foot where it is and pick up the right foot and stack it on top of the left. Shoulder blades stay lifted. And keep walking these feet on top of each other all the way until your low back and sacrum want to come off the mat. And then reverse, bringing the feet underneath each other, one at a time. Coming all the way back to low boat pose. And on an exhale, melt it back down. Let's pick ourselves up so we're sitting on our butt, and we're gonna set ourselves up for a regular boat pose. So we'll bring our fingertips up a little bit in front of us, our knees are bent and we're on our heels, and let's try to lift our shins so they're about parallel with our mat, bringing knees towards the chest nice and proud. Think of, you want your shoulder blades towards each other, and then maybe we float the hands into our boat pose. Maybe you can straighten the legs, keep the chest tall, but it doesn't matter. From here, we're gonna do like little X, what I call little X's. So we start here, we expand long, coming into an X, and then hug back in using the core, driving back to our low boat. So let's do 10 of those. That was 1. We got 2, 3, 4. Use the core. 5, halfway there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, lower the feet down. Come all the way down onto your back body. Give yourself a little break here. Heel toe your feet as wide as the mat. Let both knees fall to the left. Come back through center. Let both knees fall to the right. And an inhale, come back through center. And just extend the legs long, giving yourself a second to rest on the mat. So there it is. That was the core strength and stability. Hope your core is feeling fired up and ready to go. That's something you could maybe do every day as a little core warm-up or action before any major exercise. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Namaste.